Spoken English, simple sentences. Question and answers. Today's question word is whose. Whose. Whose means yarudaya. Yarudaya. Okay, let's enter. Whose umbrella do you take? Whose umbrella do you take? It means yarudaya umbrella kodai eduthirukra. I take Mohan's umbrella. Okay, now we'll ask question. You tell the answer, okay? Whose umbrella do you take? Second one, whose house do they live in? அது யாருடைய வீட்டில் அவங்க வாழ்ந்துட்டு இருக்கிறாங்க? They live in Babu's house. Whose house do they live in? Third one, whose letter do you type? யாருடைய letter நீ type செய்துட்டு இருக்கிற? I type Ram's letter. Whose letter do you type? நீங்கள் யாருடைய லெட்டர் டைப் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறீங்க? Tell the answer. Fourth one, whose books do you bind? நீங்கள் யாருடைய புக் bind பண்ணுறீங்க? I bind Ravi's books. Whose books do you bind? Fifth one, whose letters do you receive? I receive my neighbor's letter. நீங்கள் யாருடைய லெட்டரை வாங்குறீங்க, ரிசீவ் பண்ணுறீங்க? Whose letters do you receive? Sixth one, whose place do they go? They go to their relatives' place. Whose place do they go? Seventh one, whose parent do they meet? They meet my parent. யாருடைய பேரண்ட்ஸு அவங்க மீட் பண்ணுறாங்க. ஸோ they meet my parent. Whose parents do they meet? Eighth one, whose book do we take? We take his book. Whose book do we take? Ninth one, whose place do we occupy? We occupy manager's place. Whose place do we occupy? 10th one, whose chair do we get? We get the superior's chair. Whose chair do we get? நம்ம யாருடைய chair எடுத்துக்கிறோம்? You tell the answer. 11th one, whose pad do you need? உனக்கு யாரோட pad வேணும்? I need Mahesh's pad. Whose pad do you need? 12th one, whose movie do you see? We see Vijay's movie. Whose movie do you see? 13th one, whose book does he take? He takes Ravi's book. Whose book does he take? 14th one, whose letter does he post? Whose letter does she post? She posts Pratap's letter. Whose letter does she post? 15th one, whose phone does he use? He uses his friend's phone. Whose phone does he use? அவன் யாருடைய ஃபோனை யூஸ் பண்ணுறான்? He uses his friend's phone. Now you can tell your answer. Tell all the answers in the comment box. I'll check and tell you which is right and wrong. Okay? Speak aloud. Thank you. In the next episode, we are going to see the question word whom. அடுத்தது நம்ம என்ன பார்க்குறோம்? Whom. Whomனா யாரை?